before we start this video off, I just want to let everybody know the mini TARDIS is still here. I just recently got a huge ass TV and a new entertainment center, and I'm not really sure how I'm gonna set everything up yet. So as soon as I get everything set up, you will see the mini TARDIS. It is right behind me, behind the speaker, but just until I get everything set up, I just want to let you know that it is there. Now, the point of this video, to keep with the theme that we had going in the last video about video games, I'm doing a video called Who Did It Better? And this week, we're going to see who did it better, Resident Evil or Silent Hill. First off, we have Resident Evil, the movie. Resident Evil, the movie. Most of you know, if you watched the last video, that I am a huge die-hard Resident Evil fan. I have all the games, I have all the books, they're on my bookshelf. They were in my bookshelf tour video. You can go back and watch that again if you want to see that. But, let's get my thoughts on this movie. My thoughts on this movie are... God, this movie is so bad. Like, oh my god. It's the Milla Jovovich, Paul W.S. Anderson show that is pretty much all this movie is. That's all the movie series is the Milla Jovovich show. She's not even an original Resident Evil character. It's just... Okay, so this movie isn't entirely all that bad. The action scenes, like the fighting, the combat in this movie is actually very good. Michelle Rodriguez is a complete badass in this movie. I don't know if she was drunk or not, but in this movie she was really good. The guy that played Juan, the black guy, he actually had a name. It was Juan, right? And yeah. But anyway, yeah, the action scenes were good, and it had a completely different story than the Resident Evil series. Like, this is a whole other fucking topic if you want me to talk about Resident Evil and what I feel that has happened to this series. But the games and the movies. But the first movie, it has almost nothing to do with the original game at all. There's about 5 minutes of the mansion, and there is a special task force by Umbrella, which is only briefly mentioned in a side quest at the end of Resident Evil 2 if you beat it, when you get to play as Hunk. It has nothing to do with the original Resident Evil. This movie looks great, the CG is good, and the makeup effects are awesome on the zombies. The zombies look great, but this could have been a totally different movie if it had a different title. I mean, it is a generic action movie with zombies. It's not that good. Like, I thought, when I was watching everything up to this, like, reading about it and everything, George A. Romero actually wrote the original screenplay, and they cut it because it was too much like the game. Too much like Resident Evil 1 would have been the perfect movie. Are you serious? That story is awesome. I would have loved to have seen Wesker and Chris, and not the bad version of Wesker from like the 15th movie or whatever it is in this series, because I stopped after the third one, after they killed Carlos. I was like, why do you kill Carlos? He's the most badass character in the entire series, other than this no-name person who has nothing to do with the series. I've already said this. But you can tell that I don't like this series. Can you? Because I don't. I like the second movie. I probably actually should have done that one for this video, but you know what? Whatever. This movie is... The actors do a good job, the ones that are notable anyway, because there aren't a lot of good, like, named actors in this movie, like, well-known actors other than Milla Jovovich and Michelle Rodriguez. But this is the special edition. There really isn't anything special about this. Just to let you know. My opinion of this movie, it gets an F. This movie sucked. It stuck with storyline and devotion to the actual series. It's just... one of the only things this movie gets right is it has zombies in it. That's pretty much it. Silent Hill. Another video game series from the 90s, a classic survival horror series that I didn't really get into until very recently. I went and saw this movie in theaters when it came out. I went with my friend who was a huge Silent Hill fan. And I liked horror movies, so he thought that maybe I should come along because I'm a horror movie connoisseur, and Silent Hill, I mean, he thought it was going to be the scariest thing ever because he played all the original games. Like 1, 2, and... well, 1 and 2 at the time, because 3 didn't come out. But anyway, is this movie good? It's pretty freaking creepy. This movie is pretty good. I mean, the acting in it is so, I mean, Sean Bean's in this movie, and the little bit that they used him in this movie, he actually did a pretty good job. I was actually very interested in his side story in this movie, even though he probably should have been the main character, seeing as how this movie was pretty much based on the first Silent Hill. They had some name changes, which I didn't really agree with, because even though I didn't play the first game, I'm in the middle of the second one right now, and on this TV with my subwoofer, it's fucking scary. Anyway, but I've heard about the story from the first one, and when the mother was the one chasing after the girl, and the father was in the real world, but I know they were trying to make it more interesting and try to put their own twist on it, but still pay homage to the old games in the movie, which they actually kind of did a pretty good job. I let it go. My friend didn't let it go because he's a diehard fan, just like I am with the first Resident Evil movie, which is absolutely... But anyway, this movie has some creepy fucking scenes. I mean, it's definitely Silent Hill. Like, when she's locked in that bathroom, and it goes to the other world, Rustland, where everything is rusted over, that guy comes out of that stall. Yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy. I like it. The busty bitches from hell, the nurses. I mean, they're really they have a lot of yeah. The creepiest scene is in this entire movie, and I'm gonna put a spoiler thing right here. Right here is going to be a spoiler thing. If you don't want to hear this, take your headphones off, go click another video. When Pyramid Head picks up that chick, right, and he grabs her shirt, her dress, and he pulls that shit off, and you're like, oh shit, grotesque nudity, what is going on here? And all of a sudden, he just grabs a handful of the skin on her chest and just rips her whole piece of fucking skin off. Like her entire epidermis comes flying off, and then he throws it at the door, right? And they get in right at the last point, and there's blood all over him. I was like, that's awesome. Oh, and there's one character in this movie that I absolutely love, is the cop. She's kind of stupid at the beginning. Actually, some of the scenes in this are... hold on, give me a second. But, the cop, when she rips that helmet off and takes off the leather jacket, and you see how badass she is, like, she's pretty fucking badass. Like, I was surprised, because I had never heard of this actress before. The only person that I really heard of in this movie is Sean Bean, and I didn't really know his name at the time. The only thing I knew him from was National Treasure, because I hadn't watched Lord of the Rings yet. But she's badass. The cop, yeah. If you watch this movie for the actors, wait for the cop. Wait till you see the cop. And then some of the dialogue in this movie is kind of like, what? Like, the mother speeds away from the cop, right? And the cop finds her later, after the accident, okay? And just so you know, my videos, they're spoilers. So if you click this, you know they're spoilers. Anyway, after the accident, the cop catches up with her, right? And she wants her to get out of the car. Get out of the car, get out of the car, you're under arrest. And the mother's like, for what? I was like, you dumb bitch! You ran away from the police. Of course you're gonna get arrested. Are you stupid? Yeah, that's some of the dialogue scenes that I was talking about in this movie. They're kind of like, what? But the story for this is actually really good. I haven't seen the second one yet, so don't ruin it for me. I know it had some bad reviews, a lot of bad reviews, but from what I've read, it's pretty much based on Silent Hill 3, and it wasn't a bad game, so I'm going to check that out, and maybe I'll do a video for you guys about Silent Hill 3. But as far as Silent Hill, the movie, goes, I actually really enjoyed this, and I think they did a really good job paying homage to the original series of games, like when Konami itself was actually making the game, you know what I mean? But when they had Hijinks do it, when they had Hijinks do it, like, it's good. I actually like this. So, in conclusion, who did it better? Resident Evil or Silent Hill? It did a much, much better job at paying homage to the original series of games. They actually had good not good dialogue, but they had the creepy sense, the creepy fucking music that makes you want to like cower under your bed. It is perfect. That's just my opinion. And you know my tagline, I'm Zach and that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion on this. Some people didn't like this. I actually really loved this movie. And as you saw, I threw Resident Evil because that movie's a piece of crap. I've watched it 4 times because I was a kid when it came out, so I thought it was awesome. I now know that it was absolutely stupid because I played all the games and it sucks. It's terrible. This is good stuff. I guarantee you'll have a good time with this at Halloween party. Guaranteed. You and your bro and a couple other girls who scare easy, definitely. This movie, do it. It needs to happen. Even with alcohol, just saying. But just do it. And just watch this, it's awesome. So Silent Hill did it better. I'm Zach, and that's just my opinion.